opened up a slender 13-11 advantage over Sean Murphy heading into the final session of their World Championship semi-final at the Crucible. Four-time champion Higgins, who turns 51 later this month, had not led at the end of a session throughout the tournament, but picked the ideal time to change that as he bids to reach a record-equalling 9th final in Sheffield. Higgins, who started the day strongly but was repeatedly pegged back by 2005 winner Murphy, ended it in the same fashion as he compiled his first century of the contest to hold sway. The concluding chapter of their best of 33 encounter will begin on Saturday at 2:30, with the winner playing either China's Wu Yizhe or Northern Ireland's Mark Allen in the final. And finally, it's basketball, and LeBron James nailed 28 points as the Los Angeles Lakers eliminated Houston with a 98-78 win in Game 6 of their Western Conference first-round playoff series, holding the Rockets to a season low in points. The Lakers move on to meet the top-seeded Oklahoma Thunder with Game 1 on Tuesday in Oklahoma City. They're into the second round for the first time since 2023, when they lost to Denver in the West Finals, despite missing top scorer Luka Doncic for the entire series. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. Let's start with football, and Leeds United moved a step closer to Premier League survival after climbing 9 points clear of the relegation zone with an emphatic 3-1 win over Burnley at Ellen Road. Anton Stack opened the scoring for the hosts in the 8th minute before Noah Okafor and Dominic Calvert-Lewin struck in quick succession after the break to help lift the Whites up to 14th place. The victory takes Daniel Farke's side to 43 points, and no team with that tally has been relegated in a 38-game Premier League season. Formula One, and McLaren's Lando Norris became the first driver to beat a Mercedes in qualifying this year with sprint pole at the Miami Grand Prix. The world champion beat Kimi Antonelli by 0.222 seconds, with the second McLaren of Oscar Piastri third fastest. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was fourth, ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Mercedes' George Russell. Lewis Hamilton was seventh in the second Ferrari, ahead of Argentine Franco Colapinto in the Alpine. McLaren brought a major upgrade package to this race, along with most other teams, but not Mercedes. McLaren did the same thing in Miami in 2024, and it turned Norris's season around. Rugby League now, and May Casivo scored his fourth Super League hat-trick of the season as Leeds Rhinos beat Wakefield 40 points to 22 to ensure they remain top of the table in the 10th round of Super League. The Fiji international has had a phenomenal start to the campaign, chalking up 19 tries in 10 games in all competitions, and his finishing powers needed against a Trinity side which refused to lie down. St Helens kept pace with the Rhinos at the top of the table with a hard-fought 40 points to 16 victory over York, where the scoreline failed to do justice to the contest. After an opening drive from Bill Leyland, Saints quickly moved into a 16-0 lead after 19 minutes with 2 tries from Owen Dagnall. But York rallied impressively and got back in the game as Jesse D crossed twice in 6 minutes to leave the visitors trailing 16-10 at the break. And that was how it stayed into the final quarter before Alex Walmsley scored a game-breaking try, and Saints then sprinted clear with further scores from Jack Welsby, Jake Davis and Nene McDonald. Moving on to golf, and Cameron Young remains the Cadillac Championship leader after 2 days, having backed up his sensational first-round display with another eye-catching performance to sit on 13 under par. Young finally made his first bogey of the week, but it barely put a dent into his lead going into the weekend. He shot an 8 under par 64 on Thursday as the PGA Tour returned to the Blue Monster course at Trump National Doral in Miami for the first time since 2016, and he followed that up with a 67 on Friday to remain the frontrunner on 13 under par, taking a 5-shot lead into the final 2 rounds. Snooker now, John Higgins opened up a slender 13-11 advantage over Sean Murphy heading into the final session of their World Championship semi-final at the Crucible. Four-time champion Higgins, who turns 51 later this month, had not led at the end of a session throughout the tournament, but picked the ideal time to change that as he bids to reach a record-equalling 9th final in Sheffield. Higgins, who started the day strongly but was repeatedly pegged back by 2005 winner Murphy, ended it in the same fashion as he compiled his first century of the contest to hold sway. The concluding chapter of their best of 33 encounter will begin on Saturday at 2:30, with the winner playing either China's Wu Yizhe or Northern Ireland's Mark Allen in the final. And finally, it's basketball, and LeBron James nailed 28 points as the Los Angeles Lakers eliminated Houston with a 98-78 win in Game 6 of their Western Conference first-round playoff series, holding the Rockets to a season low in points. The Lakers move on to meet the top-seeded Oklahoma Thunder with Game 1 on Tuesday in Oklahoma City. They're into the second round for the first time since 2023, when they lost to Denver in the West Finals, despite missing top scorer Luka Doncic for the entire series. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. Let's start with football, and Leeds United moved a step closer to Premier League survival after climbing 9 points clear of the relegation zone with an emphatic 3-1 win over Burnley at Ellen Road. Anton Stack opened the scoring for the hosts in the 8th minute before Noah Okafor and Dominic Calvert-Lewin struck in quick succession after the break to help lift the Whites up to 14th place. The victory takes Daniel Farke's side to 43 points, and no team with that tally has been relegated in a 38-game Premier League season. Formula One and McLaren's Lando Norris became the first driver to beat a Mercedes in qualifying this year with sprint pole at the Miami Grand Prix. The world champion beat Kimi Antonelli by 0.222 seconds, with the second McLaren of Oscar Piastri third fastest. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was fourth, ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Mercedes' George Russell. Lewis Hamilton was seventh in the second Ferrari, ahead of Argentine Franco Colapinto in the Alpine. McLaren brought a major upgrade package to this race, along with most other teams, but not Mercedes. McLaren did the same thing in Miami in 2024, and it turned Norris's season around. Rugby League now, and Maika Sivo scored his fourth Super League hat-trick of the season as Leeds Rhinos beat Wakefield 40 points to 22 to ensure they remain top of the table in the 10th round of Super League. The Fiji international has had a phenomenal start to the campaign, chalking up 19 tries in 10 games in all competitions, and his finishing powers needed against a Trinity side which refused to lie down. St Helens kept pace with the Rhinos at the top of the table with a hard-fought 40 points to 16 victory over York, where the scoreline failed to do justice to the contest. After an opening drive from Bill Leyland, Saints quickly moved into a 16-0 lead after 19 minutes with 2 tries from Owen Dagnall. But York rallied impressively and got back in the game as Jesse D crossed twice in 6 minutes to leave the visitors trailing 16-10 at the break. And that was how it stayed into the final quarter before Alex Walmsley scored a game-breaking try, and Saints then sprinted clear with further scores from Jack Welsby, Jake Davis and Nene McDonald. Moving on to golf, and Cameron Young remains the Cadillac Championship leader after 2 days, having backed up his sensational first-round display with another eye-catching performance to sit on 13 under par. Young finally made his first bogey of the week, but it barely put a dent into his lead going into the weekend. He shot an 8 under par 64 on Thursday as the PGA Tour returned to the Blue Monster course at Trump National Doral in Miami for the first time since 2016, and he followed that up with a 67 on Friday to remain the frontrunner on 13 under par, taking a 5-shot lead into the final 2 rounds. Snooker now, John Higgins opened up a slender 13-11 advantage over Shaun Murphy heading into the final session of their World Championship semi-final at the Crucible. Four-time champion Higgins, who turns 51 later this month, had not led at the end of a session throughout the tournament, but picked the ideal time to change that as he bids to reach a record equalling 9th final in Sheffield. Higgins, who started the day strongly but was repeatedly pegged back by 2005 winner Murphy, ended it in the same fashion as he compiled his first century of the contest to hold sway. The concluding chapter of their best of 33 encounter will begin on Saturday at 2:30, with the winner playing either China's Wu Yizhe or Northern Ireland's Mark Allen in the final. And finally, it's basketball, and LeBron James nailed 28 points as the Los Angeles Lakers eliminated Houston with a 98-78 win in Game 6 of their Western Conference first-round playoff series, holding the Rockets to a season low in points. The Lakers move on to meet the top-seeded Oklahoma Thunder with Game 1 on Tuesday in Oklahoma City. They're into the second round for the first time since 2023, when they lost to Denver in the West Finals, despite missing top scorer Luka Doncic for the entire series. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. Let's start with football, and Leeds United moved a step closer to Premier League survival after climbing 9 points clear of the relegation zone with an emphatic 3-1 win over Burnley at Ellen Road. Anton Stack opened the scoring for the hosts in the 8th minute before Noah Okafor and Dominic Calvert-Lewin struck in quick succession after the break to help lift the Whites up to 14th place. The victory takes Daniel Farke's side to 43 points, and no team with that tally has been relegated in a 38-game Premier League season. Formula One and McLaren's Lando Norris became the first driver to beat a Mercedes in qualifying this year with sprint pole at the Miami Grand Prix. The world champion beat Kimi Antonelli by 0.222 seconds, with the second McLaren of Oscar Piastri third fastest. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was fourth, ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Mercedes' George Russell. Lewis Hamilton was seventh in the second Ferrari, ahead of Argentine Franco Colapinto in the Alpine. McLaren brought a major upgrade package to this race, along with most other teams, but not Mercedes. McLaren did the same thing in Miami in 2024, and it turned Norris's season around. Rugby League now, and May Casivo scored his fourth Super League hat-trick of the season as Leeds Rhinos beat Wakefield 40 points to 22 to ensure they remain top of the table in the 10th round of Super League. The Fiji international has had a phenomenal start to the campaign, chalking up 19 tries in 10 games in all competitions, and his finishing powers needed against a Trinity side which refused to lie down. St Helens kept pace with the Rhinos at the top of the table with a hard-fought 40 points to 16 victory over York, where the scoreline failed to do justice to the contest. After an opening drive from Bill Leyland, Saints quickly moved into a 16-0 lead after 19 minutes with 2 tries from Owen Dagnall. But York rallied impressively and got back in the game as Jesse D crossed twice in 6 minutes to leave the visitors trailing 16-10 at the break. And that was how it stayed into the final quarter before Alex Walmsley scored a game-breaking try, and Saints then sprinted clear with further scores from Jack Welsby, Jake Davis and Nene McDonald. Moving on to golf, and Cameron Young remains the Cadillac Championship leader after 2 days, having backed up his sensational first-round display with another eye-catching performance to sit on 13 under par. Young finally made his first bogey of the week, but it barely put a dent into his lead going into the weekend. He shot an 8 under par 64 on Thursday as the PGA Tour returned to the Blue Monster course at Trump National Doral in Miami for the first time since 2016, and he followed that up with a 67 on Friday to remain the frontrunner on 13 under par, taking a 5-shot lead into the final 2 rounds. Snooker now, and John Higgins opened up a slender 13-11 advantage over Shaun Murphy heading into the final session of their World Championship semi-final at the Crucible. 4-time champion Higgins, who turns 51 later this month, had not led at the end of a session throughout the tournament, but picked the ideal time to change that as he bids to reach a record-equalling 9th final in Sheffield. Higgins, who started the day strongly but was repeatedly pegged back by 2005 winner Murphy, ended it in the same fashion as he compiled his first century of the contest to hold sway. The concluding chapter of their best-of-33 encounter will begin on Saturday at 2:30, with the winner playing either China's Wu Yizhe or Northern Ireland's Mark Allen in the final. And finally, it's basketball, and LeBron James nailed 28 points as the Los Angeles Lakers eliminated Houston with a 98-78 win in Game 6 of their Western Conference first-round playoff series, holding the Rockets to a season low in points. The Lakers move on to meet the top-seeded Oklahoma Thunder with Game 1 on Tuesday in Oklahoma City. They're into the second round for the first time since 2023, when they lost to Denver in the West Finals, despite missing top scorer Luka Doncic for the entire series. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. Let's start with football, and Leeds United moved a step closer to Premier League survival after climbing 9 points clear of the relegation zone with an emphatic 3-1 win over Burnley at Ellen Road. Anton Stack opened the scoring for the hosts in the 8th minute before Noah Okafor and Dominic Calvert-Lewin struck in quick succession after the break to help lift the Whites up to 14th place. The victory takes Daniel Farke's side to 43 points, and no team with that tally has been relegated in a 38-game Premier League season. Formula One, and McLaren's Lando Norris became the first driver to beat a Mercedes in qualifying this year with sprint pole at the Miami Grand Prix. The world champion beat Kimi Antonelli by 0.222 seconds, with the second McLaren of Oscar Piastri third fastest. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was fourth, ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Mercedes' George Russell. Lewis Hamilton was seventh in the second Ferrari, ahead of Argentine Franco Colapinto in the Alpine. McLaren brought a major upgrade package to this race, along with most other teams, but not Mercedes. McLaren did the same thing in Miami in 2024, and it turned Norris's season around. Rugby League now, and May Casivo scored his fourth Super League hat-trick of the season as Leeds Rhinos beat Wakefield 40 points to 22 to ensure they remain top of the table in the 10th round of Super League. The Fiji international has had a phenomenal start to the campaign, chalking up 19 tries in 10 games in all competitions, and his finishing powers needed against a Trinity side which refused to lie down. St Helens kept pace with the Rhinos at the top of the table with a hard-fought 40 points to 16 victory over York, where the scoreline failed to do justice to the contest. After an opening drive from Bill Leyland, Saints quickly moved into a 16-0 lead after 19 minutes with 2 tries from Owen Dagnall. But York rallied impressively and got back in the game as Jesse D crossed twice in 6 minutes to leave the visitors trailing 16-10 at the break. And that was how it stayed into the final quarter before Alex Walmsley scored a game-breaking try, and Saints then sprinted clear with further scores from Jack Welsby, Jake Davis and Nene McDonald. Moving on to golf, and Cameron Young remains the Cadillac Championship leader after 2 days, having backed up his sensational first-round display with another eye-catching performance to sit on 13 under par. Young finally made his first bogey of the week, but it barely put a dent into his lead going into the weekend. He shot an 8 under par 64 on Thursday as the PGA Tour returned to the Blue Monster course at Trump National Doral in Miami for the first time since 2016, and he followed that up with a 67 on Friday to remain the frontrunner on 13 under par, taking a 5-shot lead into the final 2 rounds. Snooker now, John Higgins opened up a slender 13-11 advantage over Sean Murphy heading into the final session of their World Championship semi-final at the Crucible. 4-time champion Higgins, who turns 51 later this month, had not led at the end of a session throughout the tournament, but picked the ideal time to change that as he bids to reach a record equalling 9th final in Sheffield. Higgins, who started the day strongly but was repeatedly pegged back by 2005 winner Murphy, ended it in the same fashion as he compiled his first century of the contest to hold sway. The concluding chapter of their best of 33 encounter will begin on Saturday at 2:30, with the winner playing either China's Wu Yizhe or Northern Ireland's Mark Allen in the final. And finally, it's basketball, and LeBron James nailed 28 points as the Los Angeles Lakers eliminated Houston with a 98-78 win in Game 6 of their Western Conference first-round playoff series, holding the Rockets to a season low in points. The Lakers move on to meet the top-seeded Oklahoma Thunder with Game 1 on Tuesday in Oklahoma City. They're into the second round for the first time since 2023, when they lost to Denver in the West Finals, despite missing top scorer Luka Doncic for the entire series. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. Let's start with football, and Leeds United moved a step closer to Premier League survival after climbing 9 points clear of the relegation zone with an emphatic 3-1 win over Burnley at Ellen Road. Anton Stack opened the scoring for the hosts in the 8th minute before Noah Okafor and Dominic Calvert-Lewin struck in quick succession after the break to help lift the Whites up to 14th place. The victory takes Daniel Farke's side to 43 points, and no team with that tally has been relegated in a 38-game Premier League season. Formula One, and McLaren's Lando Norris became the first driver to beat a Mercedes in qualifying this year with sprint pole at the Miami Grand Prix. The world champion beat Kimi Antonelli by 0.222 seconds, with the second McLaren of Oscar Piastri third fastest. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was fourth, ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Mercedes' George Russell. Lewis Hamilton was seventh in the second Ferrari, ahead of Argentine Franco Colapinto in the Alpine. McLaren brought a major upgrade package to this race, along with most other teams, but not Mercedes. McLaren did the same thing in Miami in 2024, and it turned Norris's season around. Rugby League now, and May Casivo scored his 4th Super League hat-trick of the season as Leeds Rhinos beat Wakefield 40 points to 22 to ensure they remain top of the table in the 10th round of Super League. The Fiji international has had a phenomenal start to the campaign, chalking up 19 tries in 10 games in all competitions, and his finishing powers need.
And the first free kick of the match goes Sunderland's way. The ex-Arsenal defender was kicking it long downfield where he got caught by a late boot in from the Wolves striker, signed in mid-season. Hasn't added many goals, but he is good at pressing. He does combine well with his teammates, and he's got a bit of help up front now with Tolu Arokadare going with 2 up top today. Wolves, quite an ambitious way to finish a season for a side who've only just got out of single figures for points, really. Ballard plays it back now to Roofs on the edge of the penalty area, and he knocks it out to the left-hand side. Ronaldo back in the team today. Finds Lefay. He's just holding the ball up here, the ex-Atletico Madrid man. Stolen back, though, by Wolves momentarily before a clearance. An awkward one by Alderete comes off the body of Matthias Marni and goes out for a throw-in to Sorry, goes for a goal kick to Sunderland. So yeah, the Premier League table kick-off showing us that Sunderland still mathematically in with a chance of claiming a European spot. They'd have to win pretty much every game, I think. Currently in 12th, same level of points with Everton. Ballard carries the ball out of defence, tries to find a forward pass, but now he could get caught out by Armstrong. Mane inside the centre circle, lifts a good pass towards Orokodare. Great first touch there from the striker onto his right foot, trying to slip it now to the underlapping teammate. Cross goes into the back post. Armstrong was lurking, but it's cleared away by Xhaka out for a corner.
Yeah, nice little play down on this left-hand side. Lovely ball. Nice little run from Orokodare. He was only up against Alderete. It was good tracking back though from Mukiele. Lovely run round the back, and well, a bit of a poor clearance from Granit Xhaka. I think a few of his partners were going, well, why did you kick it out for a corner and just not clear of the goal?
Deep cross in from the edge of the penalty area is probably too strong really from a Wolves point of view, and Sunderland can clear. Good skill from Lefay. Gets down the left-hand side and gets Sunderland moving forward. Brobby now darting down the middle. He's played this one out to the left-hand side. Was held up there as a cross goes in towards Brobby at the far post. But Wolves clear. The referee, Paul Tierney, seeing that drag back on Lefay and thinking that they had the advantage there, Sunderland. As Xhaka wins it in midfield. And gets them moving forward again, the Black Cats. The Swiss international plays it out to the left now for Kemsteen Talby, the winger. He's one-on-one now with Pedro Lima. Mosquera is giving Lima a lot of rope to work with there, the inside defender, but ball cannons off the Brazilian for a throw-in to Sunderland. Well, just seen some, fairly soft claims for a penalty by Santi Bueno at the other end from the previous corner that was played in. Bueno tangling with Sunderland defender, but he went down very softly, and the referee not interested in his penalty claims. Here comes the long throw in then from the left-hand side. Usually it'll be Mukiele to take these long throws, and he comes in and lobs it in high towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Mosquera, and then clearance completed by Wolves, who just blasted away. Now it's sent back towards Mukiele, who stays out on the left-hand side, but he's lost that in a challenge, and now Mane drags it away. Still going Mane, slipped in by Bueno, but coming across to defend it well was Ronaldo, knocks it out for a throw. Yeah,
really nice play there from Wolves to get it out and cleared of their own half. Lovely by Mateus Mane, just played a simple 1-2 with Santiago Bueno, who then sent him down this right-hand side, but good defending in the end by Ronaldo.
Mukiele's hurt himself here. He's coming off with some pain in his wrist. I'm not sure how this one happened. I mean, this is a problem for Sunderland because, like I say, he's their long throw taker, and if it's a wrist injury, you can play on with a wrist injury, but can you take throw-ins?
No, you can't, not really, but that one, he just seemed to be in some pain. The physios as well have gone towards him, and he's definitely clutching at that right wrist. I wonder if it's from when he took that throw-in.
Yeah, well, play continues, so Sunderland down to 10 as Wolves have the ball with Andre, and he knocks it out wide right to Lima. Lima back to Mosquera, and now João Gomes, centre of the park, 35 yards out, leaves it for Andre again. Totti Gomes had a good game against Tottenham last week, moves it wide to Armstrong, who comes in off the left, goes back to Totti Gomes. He approaches the edge of the penalty, puts a deep cross into the back post. He's massively overcooked that one though, and it's just gone out for a goal kick, which Sunderland will be happy about. Now they might get a chance to get their extra man back on, or their 11th man back on.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that one was a deep cross in there. There was only one man to aim at in Orokodare, but I mean, Wolves maybe need to get a few more bodies forward. They were looking maybe towards that back stick as well with Adam Armstrong, but like I said, just towards Orokodare, it's a poor ball in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you've got 3 centre-backs and you're on top and you're pushing forward, the centre-back do have to put crosses in. They can't just be expected to just pass it round on the edge of the box and there are going to be moments when they have to cross, but there's going to be more quality on that kind of service from Totti Gomez, or indeed from Mosquera when he gets up on the right hand side. Play has restarted. I think Mukiele's back on the pitch now as the ball's headed out of play for a throw in by Lima. Mukiele would usually come across and take this, but they might be thinking about a shorter throw, which they do. Go back into midfield now. Xhaka to Talbi. Talbi scoots down the left-hand side, tries to chop back onto his right foot, but he's shown the door there by good defending from Lima. Lima's got two players around him. I'm not sure he was aware of the second one coming in there, Lefebvre, but he's done well. Finds a route out of defence with a bit of help from Andre. Now the ball's cleared by Mosquera up towards Arokadari, holds it up for Mane. Mane gets away from the first challenge and sends it back into João Gomes. Now Andre spreads it across the left-hand side for Hugo Bueno. He's into Sunderland territory now. The Black Cats have got lots of blue shirts back in defence, including Brobby now, who's the furthest forward. 8.5 minutes gone. As the ball slipped down the left-hand side now for Hugo Bueno. Attacks the full-back Mukiele. Now he goes on for the extra pass to Armstrong, who can't get past his man. And he won't get a corner either. There must have been a double deflection there. It'll be a goal kick to Sunderland.
Yeah, this is a nice build-up play from Wolves, though, especially down this left-hand side. They're aiming it more towards Hugo Bueno. It's a lovely overlapping run of Armstrong, but his cross wasn't the best. He got easily blocked out by the Sunderland man and came back off of him and goes out for a goal kick. But they're definitely trying to get Hugo Bueno involved more in the game. Yeah,
he put that early cross in, which caused the most danger from a Wolves perspective. Ruffs, good pass out to Ballard. Gets Sunderland on the attack. Long ball from him up towards Brobby. Towering header though from Mosquera, nods it clear. Picked up by Marnie in midfield. He goes back this time though to Lima. And the Wolves defensive three pass it between themselves. Totti Gomez is urging someone to come short. It's played wide to Bueno, then into João Gomes. Only the two Gomez's in the starting lineup for Wolves today. They've got one more on the bench, and one is currently out. Unless I've miscalculated, they've got two on the bench, possibly. They do have two on the bench today, yeah. Angel Gomez and Rodrigo Gomez. So two Buenos, four Gomez's in the Wolves squad. There's a long ball from Santi Bueno out to the right-hand side. Headed out by Ronaldo for a throw-in to Wolves, midway inside the Sunderland half. Pedro Lima takes it, goes back to Yerson Mosquera, one of the changes from that Tottenham defeat. Sealed when João Palhinha poked home at the back post. Jose Sarr is another one of the changes. Dan Bentley's come in for him today. And Arokadare, who came off the bench in that Spurs game, also gets the start up front for Rob Edwards. He'll be thinking about next season in the Championship. It's a good run from deep by Andre. Now João Gomes plays it wide to the left-hand side. Bueno to cross, puts it in high to the back post, and Arokadare, well, sorry, it wasn't him, it was Mane coming in on it. Had a chance of coming in on it with pace and just slipped. Yeah, he did indeed. It's a lovely ball inside, but it's another one aiming maybe towards Arokadare, but got a little bit too much power onto it. Mane does well too. Mane tried to do well to try and get the header onto it, but slips as he does so. I mean, there was half-hearted appeals about a penalty though. I don't think he was held. I think he just lost his footing, but perhaps get a chance to see that via a replay later on. But now Lefebvre carries the ball forward for Sunderland. Down the left-hand side with Talbi. Talbi on the edge of the box. Knocks it back now and finds Siddiqui. Now Xhaka looking for a pass to Talbi. Talbi goes inside again. And Hume's tucked in from the right-hand side in this formation. He's got the ball again, central midfield, lost it to Mane. Ref says play on. There's the chance of a break here. In fact, it was Arokadare who went down there, not Mane. And he's still down, holding his ankle as the referee's pulled it back for the free kick. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Arokadare. I think maybe the physios might have to come onto the field for this one. We'll just see it again. It's Trey Hume as he just goes to kick the ball. Arokadare comes in from behind him, and Trey Hume then comes in with somewhat of a sliding challenge on Arokadare. He's back up towards his feet and seems okay. Yeah, just a free kick, nothing else for Paul Tierney. Fairly slow start to the game, but we have had a goal elsewhere in the Premier League, and it's gone the way of Newcastle.
Yeah, it has indeed. Newcastle 1, Brighton 0 within that game then, and Osula is the opening goal scorer.
Yeah, Brighton still with a faint glimmer of a Champions League place this season. They would need to win that game really to have any chance. Newcastle, of course, feeling the heat now of Leeds going above them in the Premier League last night. Obviously, if they win today, they go back ahead of them and probably be safe for the season if they do get the 3 points today, Newcastle. Long ball from the free kick by Wolves is headed away by Ronaldo. Picked up by Xhaka in midfield. Xhaka knocks it forward. Lefay plays it back to Ballard. Sunderland coming down the right-hand side now. Ballard wide to Mukiele. He's going backwards though with the ball. Alderete is the furthest outfield player back for the Black Cats. And now Ballard again looking to coax one forward into the channel, but Totti Gomez knocks it away with a good header. Back in midfield now for Mukiele, and then Alderete. Bentley, Roofs knocks it forward, and Siddiqui gets a touch. This is good passing from Sunderland though. They've worked their way out of a tight area and find Ballard near the halfway line. Siddiqui plays it across the Molineux pitch and invites Alderete forward. He moves into Wolves territory, clips a pass forward looking for Brobby, but a stretching Mosquera nods it clear. Picked up by João Gomez, who almost half falling over comes away with the ball. Eventually it's won back by Sunderland. Just weight of numbers there with that compact midfield. Fullbacks tucking in, making extra numbers. Sunderland again with Ballard looking for a pass into Lefay, to Hume rather. Back it goes to Siddiqui. Sunderland on the attack again with Mukiele. Looked for a 1-2 there, which wasn't happening because Bueno tracked the run and the pass was too strong through to Bentley.
Yeah, it was indeed. Nice play from Sunderland, but unfortunately Mukiele just didn't get the ball back in time off of the man. And well, Wolves are looking more dangerous when sort of coming forward, especially down this left-hand side, but it's that final ball into the third that's just letting them down.
Long kick from Bentley. He's aimed towards Rokodari. He's holding his chin now after a tangle there with a Sunderland defender. Play continues. Referee not interested in Rokodari's claims of an infringement. Ball forward from Xhaka, laid off by Brobby to Lefay. Lefay's struggling to hold on the ball, but Xhaka helps him out. This physical Wolves midfield. Now Mukiele, chip pass forward looking for Brobby, but back there was Bueno. And now Mosquera to clear. It's a good ball into Matheus Mane's feet, but he's let it ran beyond him, but it's come back nicely here for Andre, who curls a pass out to the left for Bueno. It's Hugo Bueno. No way forward at the moment, so Wolves patiently knocking it back into the back three. And all the way to Bentley. He goes with a long clearance upfield, which is nodded away by Alderete and brought down by Wolves. Given away though by João Gomez. Little flick pass to Brobby. Brobby's in here with the shots and he's over the bar with a deflection from Santi Bueno, giving Sunderland a corner, I think. Yeah,
really nice play from Sunderland yet again. Lovely run by Brobby. He was a little bit, he had two Wolves players coming in on him though, but it's a lovely run, just manages to time it well as well, takes it on that right foot. I think he wants more power onto that first touch, take it away from him, and it doesn't. He cuts it back onto the left foot, tries the shot, lovely defending though from Gomez and Mosquera, who were both surrounding him there and managing to get the block on the ball.
Yeah, Santi Bueno got caught just moving forward there as the other two defenders held the ground, and Brobby nipped into the space between them, had that opening, but as he was taking the shot, a despairing foot came in and deflected it behind for this corner, which looks like Xhaka's going to take from over on the right hand side. Ballard, big threat, big aerial threat from set piece, as we saw in last season's playoffs. He's up there now, and it comes from Xhaka. Curling left-footed delivery towards the back post, headed down and in. Sunderland have the opening goal, and it's scored by Nordi Mukiele. Lovely delivery from Xhaka, downward header, nobody on the line to stop it for Wolves.
Yeah, indeed, lovely ball, lovely corner kick from Granit Xhaka, just whips it perfectly into the head of Nordi Mukiele, who rose higher than all the Wolves players, headed it down into the ground and back up into the net. There's nothing that Bentley could really do about that one. I think he'd be asking questions of his defenders on why they didn't quite get to the ball before Mukiele. We'll see it here just again. He just rose too high up into the air, but the tracking there from a few of the Wolves players isn't the best, and it bounces down into the ground and back up, but free header for Mukiele.
Yeah, they've been a good set-piece team this season, Sunderland, as they were last season in the Championship. And yeah, just great delivery from Xhaka. Solid header, but he wasn't really challenged by the Wolves defenders, and that'll be the big worry for Edwards. He's got 3 big centre-backs in the team, and none of them was there to stop Mukiele getting a clear header from just 6 yards out.
Yeah, indeed, he just rose higher than all of them. I think it was Mane who was really marking Mukiele, but he just didn't jump at all. He kind of waited for the ball maybe to come onto him. He didn't see that Mukiele was behind him, and he just beat him towards the ball. As like I said, just rose higher than him. Managed to get a really good connection on the head as well, down into the ground. So it's always a troubling one for Bentley.
I mean, if that is Matthias Mane who's meant to be marking in there, you've got to question the assignments on a corner. You know, they've got 3 centre-backs, all of them tall, in Mosquera, Bueno and Totti Gomes. You've got a Roccadare, who's a huge man coming back for corners to defence. That's 4 very tall players that should be marking, well, I mean, the 4 biggest players in the Sunderland side, of which Mukiele is undoubtedly one of them. Yeah,
indeed, but Mukiele had pulled away originally. I think they were more focused on maybe Dan Ballard, because I could see 2 players around him as he ran inside the box, and that just allowed them, Mukiele, to get onto one of the smaller men and just put it into the back of the net. So yeah, it's just poor kind of zonal marking really from them, because they were so focused on Dan Ballard.
Yeah, definitely back to the drawing board there for the Wolves set-piece coach. After that one, just seeing the delivery again. Roccadare's in a battle with Brobby, so he's more concerned with him. And then it comes to, I mean, Pedro Lima's one side of Mukiele, and Matthias Mane's not really doing much there either. So yeah, it's just poor all round from Wolves. Sunderland on the attack again, looking to add to their lead. Down the right hand side from the goal scorer Mukiele, who turns and sends it back to Xhaka. Then it's stopped on the edge of the box and collected by Siddiqui, who knocks it wide again to Mukiele. Up against Bueno, tries to make half a yard and get his cross in, but he's not really going anywhere here. Defended well by Bueno, out for a throw-in. Played nearly 20 minutes now at Molly. It's kind of flown by, hasn't it? That goal has certainly illuminated the game as well. And all 3 Premier League matches now have a goal, because Brentford took the lead against West Ham as well. Throw in down the right for Sunderland. Mukiele is okay to take it with his hand injury. In it goes near post, headed away by Wolves. Drops on the edge, and a volley from Siddiqui comes into a crowd of bodies. Comes back to the edge of the box, lifted cross to the back post. Bentley there to claim it with 3 blue shirts in proximity, and they stop him from quickly distributing the ball as well. Yeah,
really nice play there from Bentley. He knew what he had to do. Saw the 3 players that were coming in towards the far post, then knew he had to try and dive out of the net and try and grab this ball, and he does so nicely. Shot came in. It's well defended in the end by Wolves, but it's smart play from Mukiele. He knew that the cross wasn't on. He knew that he didn't have that spot, so he kept on trying to drive down towards the byline, maybe hoping for them throw-ins or corners to come for him.
Long kick downfield from Bentley. It's aimed towards Roccadare. Controls it just about and finds Lima pushing up from left wing back, from right wing back. Now a crossfield switch out to the left hand side. It's going to find Hugo Bueno, who's up against Mukiele. He goes on the outside of him. Mukiele with a recovery challenge puts it out for a throw. Yeah, I saw Wolves last week, and they did all right against Tottenham at times, and you thought, they're competitive, but they just lack that cutting edge in attack. And you've seen it again from them here. Roccadare, he can hold the ball up, but has he got the instincts to finish off a chance? And Armstrong, good Championship goal scorer, but never really done it in the Premier League despite many attempts. And it is the lack of cutting edge really that I think's probably been the main sort of takeaway I've got from watching Wolves these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, they've always had that problem up top. This is the thing for them, but it's also maybe in their defence as well.
Well, they're checking for a hair pull here. So the VAR has identified a possible hair pull on Tolu Roccadare by Dan Ballard, and this is becoming a real contentious issue in the Premier League. We've seen it almost every week, aren't we? And sometimes VAR officials are quick to highlight it. I mean, funnily enough, this referee Portini was in charge of the Leeds-Manchester United game when his VAR alerted him to the possible hair pull by Martinez on Calvert-Lewin, and it looks like this VAR official is again hot on it once more, and Dan Ballard could be in trouble.
Yeah, he could be indeed. I mean, he's complaining as well, and I think maybe Dan Ballard might be sent off here. He's not got a very happy look on his face, Dan Ballard. He does seem, but they've sent Paul Tierney towards the screen to have a look at it. I mean, I think there was one recently with Cucurella where it was more of a really grab pull, and we didn't see a red card for this one, but this one looks a little bit more obvious for me with the Rockadari, is that actually Dan Ballard is holding on to his hair for a lot longer than possibly he should be.
I mean, when they slow it down, it always looks longer, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not excusing it. If he's pulled his hair and he's pulled it for more than just a fraction of a second, then there's going to be punishment here. But it looks like this particular referee and his VAR official, I assume it's the same VAR official they had at Old Trafford. It might not be, actually, but it certainly seems like Paul Tierney is at the centre of another hair pull controversy here as he makes the signal for. Well, he's going to read it. He's going to declare it to the fans first. But this could be bad news for Dan Ballard. We can't hear obviously what's going on. I'm not as good a lip reader as I used to be. But we'll see whether he goes to his pocket, which he does. And we're going to see a card here, I think, for Dan Ballard. And I think he knows what's coming. It's the top pocket. Paul Tierney is going to send off Dan Ballard, and Sunderland, a goal up at Molineux, are down to 10 men for a needless hair pull.
Yeah, indeed, it's silly from Dan Ballard. I think it's because he's holding it on for too long. I think he holds on to Rockadari's hair for too long, and Paul Tierney has seen that, and he has decided, after looking at the screen, that he was sent off. But maybe VAR, Matt Donoghue, who's in the VAR box, has had a look at that as well for a little bit too long, and he can't make up that decision on maybe whether it's a red card. So he's asked the referee to go towards the screen.
Oh, it's definitely the referee has to make that decision. So even if he's not seen it live, the VAR official can't tell him it's a hair pull. He's got to send him off. He's got to send him to the screen. That's just the protocol.
Yeah, he just holds on for it for too long, and he has a lot of the strand of the hair of Rockadari, and Dan Ballard, well, he's been sent down the tunnel then by Paul Tierney, and Paul Tierney will get things back underway.
Yeah, what a disappointing end to the game for Ballard, and what will now be the end to his season, because that is a 3-match ban, and that is the end of Dan Ballard's Premier League action this season. What a shame for him. He'll regret that moment, I'm sure, but I still think it is very harsh that a hair pull for a fraction of a second results in a red card and a 3-game ban.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we've seen them given. I mean, the argue could be that we saw one with Cucurella with Chelsea where it was a lot longer hair pull, a lot more of his hair as well, and we didn't see a red card given for that one. There are a few inconsistencies sometimes within fouls that have been given, and like the penalties and stuff like that, handballs as well, and maybe this all leads kind of down towards it.
A free kick from Wolves anyway, crossed into the box and headed up in the air, claimed by Ruff. So Sunderland have got a goal lead, but they've got to protect it now with 10 men. Can they add to it though on the counter-attack here? They're going to try and catch Wolves cold. Xhaka's ball forward is going to pick out Talby, escaping down the left-hand side. Early ball in from him, hits the arm, does it? They're claiming handball and a penalty here, Sunderland. Referee gives them a corner off the body of Pedro Lima.
Well, I think the referee had a clear view, but of course VAR will also have a look at it. They're saying it came, well, Paul Tierney is saying it came off of the shoulder. Just have a look at it again. I think it does actually come off of the hand of Lima, but I think he's got it quite close to his body. And
I think it's outside the box as well, so the VAR official cannot get involved to award a free kick in that situation, only for a penalty. If it's outside the box, nothing will happen. And nothing will happen, it's going to be a corner. So Sunderland then looking to add to their lead. They scored from the last corner they had when Mukiele had a free header really from just outside, well, just on the edge of the 6-yard box. They'll have to pick up better now. Robbie's in there, Alderete's in there, Mukiele's in there again. It's going to be a right-footed corner this time. It goes in near post and it's headed away by Rockadari. Drops on the edge to Xhaka, who helps it on towards the far side where it's played wide by Siddiqui. Good feet there from Enzo Lefebvre, and he keeps the ball out on the left-hand side. Knocks it back to Siddiqui. I've gone way past my time. Sorry, Joe, you should have said this is midway through the first half at Molineux. It is still Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Take through to half-time. It's going to be Joe Pearson.
Yeah, and it is with Sunderland back towards their goalkeeper. Just to let you know, Newcastle have got a second goal in their game against Brighton. Newcastle 2, Brighton 0. Dan Burn is the goal scorer. And for West Ham, well, they did have the ball inside the back of the net with Mavropanos. After a VAR review, that was ruled offside. For Brentford's goal, Mavropanos actually scored an own goal as well, so he could have put one in on the either net, but on this time he was not, so he was unfortunate again. And here comes Sunderland down the left-hand side with Mukiele, puts it in towards Hume, will try the shot. It wasn't the best one in the end, it just rolls straight through towards Bentley. But Sunderland now, I mean, they're down to 10 men, but they are really trying to put the pressure on Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't reflect well on Wolves, does it? That, you know, they've got that advantage now and they still can't really impose themselves on the game, and it's Sunderland looking the more dangerous.
Yeah, within League One as well, of course, towards the playoff push, Plymouth are in there, but they are losing 2-0 towards Northampton then. As here come Wolves, who have won themselves a free kick with Mateus Mane. Alderete with the push in the back on him, and that will be awarded a free kick then for Wolves. So, like I said, Plymouth are looking for that push, but at the moment it is Stevenage, Bolton, Bradford and Stockport who are all in the playoffs. Of course, Lincoln and Cardiff are already through to the Championship then. And of course, we've got games, massive games in League 2 as well, where Fleetwood have taken a 1-0 lead in their game against MK Dons. And we get set now for this free kick then, which will be taken by the man who won it in Mateus Mane then. He stands over it. Well, he's maybe looking to go for goal here, Mane. You can see his eyes, that's where they are. And he's just wide of the post. He went underneath the wall, didn't go over it this time. Both the Sunderland players jumped up into the air, but it was just wide of the post on this occasion. Yeah,
it's a clever option for a free kick taker, isn't it? If you've done your homework and you see the wall's going to jump and you think you're a bit close in there to try and get it up and over a jumping wall, then perhaps to try and go under the wall if there's no what we sometimes term a draft excluded behind. So it was a good option taken by Mane, just didn't quite have the execution right.
Indeed, we see Regis Labrie, arms folded, not barking out many instructions. Of course, Sunderland have conceded from just 9.2% of the shots faced in the Premier League this season. 45 goals conceded from 491 shots, the third best rate in the competition. However, opponents Wolves have the lowest shot conversion rate of any side this term, with 7.6, and they have conceded 62 goals this season.
I think those stats reflect well on Robin Ruffs, but maybe not well on the Wolves defence. So yeah, he's been a great signing, hasn't he? The Dutch keeper, he's come in, looked like he's belonged in the Premier League since the first game, really, and probably I'd put him in the top 5 or 6 goalkeeper performers this season.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, for Sunderland, they came up and they've got in the good manager with Regis Labrie, but they've also signed really good players, the likes of Mukiele and Granit Xhaka. Those two, I remember those two being announced, and I thought they are brilliant signings for this Sunderland team, as Hugo Bueno is battling down with Nordi Mukiele on this left-hand side and has won himself a throw-in, which he seems really happy to have won that after a brilliant battle up there. And Wolves just get set, I think, for another... it's actually a corner kick that he's won for his side. Then Mukiele doesn't seem happy with the decision that was given. He thought it was a throw-in. The referee has seen it a different way and has given a corner kick for Wolves then, which everybody is up from then. It's headed away, though, by Sunderland. Alderete managed to get to the ball first on this occasion. Ball to the right-hand side for Andre then. He's battling up there with Xhaka. He needs a little bit of support. He's thrown to the ground by Xhaka, and it'll be a free kick for Andre and for Wolves then, which is a little bit silly by Granit Xhaka, just pushing Andre to the floor when he wasn't really going anywhere.
Yeah, he was trying to just spin away from him, I think, with a drag back, and Xhaka was not having any of it, and he held his left arm, and a bit of an arm lock, really, and it made it so obvious the referee couldn't do anything else but give a free kick.
Indeed, then on that right-hand side then, and Xhaka and Armstrong have a lot of smile at each other, but Mateus Mane stands over it again then. Camera pans to Mosquera and Rocadara, who are side by side at the moment. Ball is whipped in towards the 6-yard box. It's away by Alderete. Again comes back out towards Andre. It's a flick inside the box. Oh, he's missed the chance there. The shot came in from Mosquera, who was inside of the 6-yard box, and I'm not sure how he hasn't put that one away. He had the entire net to try and aim at on that right hand side, and he was onside, but I think the leg just comes in actually from Alderete.
Yeah, Alderete's come on his blind side and just pinched it away from him. He needs to be more aware of the man behind him there. So Mosquera's thinking he's got a tap in. He's got a tap in from 5 yards out, and he's preparing to almost celebrate before he's protected the ball. And by not protecting the ball, he's allowed Alderete to nick it away.
Corner in there, headers fly in there. It's a scramble inside the 6-yard box. Will the shot come in? It will, and it's saved by Roofs on this occasion. I think Rocadari just tried to turn it towards the net, but on this occasion was blocked out by Roofs. But here comes Sunderland then down the left hand side. Can they catch Wolves out with a quick counter attack then with Siddiqui onto the right hand side for Hume. Hume goes back towards Alderete, who launches it forward, and it hasn't worked out in the end for them. Wolves just head it straight back, but only back towards Sunderland then, who I won't be surprised at half time to see a defensive change come into play, maybe a tactical one as well.
I mean, it's brave, isn't it, from Reggie Labrie not to instantly make a change there when your centre back's been sent off like that. He's trusting the players out there to find a solution themselves, and I think it just shows you how well run the team is, on the field as well, by Granit Xhaka, I would think, mainly, and the other leaders in the group there, that they can adjust without having to, the manager really, or the coach on the sidelines having to make a change.
Yeah, indeed. I think they've dropped sort of Trey Hume into that right wing back spot, which is what Nordi Mukiele was doing, and Mukiele has gone into that centre back spot just for now, until maybe the change will come at half time. But ball onto the left hand side then for Hugo Bueno. He can drive at Trey Hume, does a few step overs, manages to get away from him on that right foot, but does run into a little bit of trouble. Ball back towards João Gomes. He just lays it off into the path of Totti Gomez, who can drive forward. He tries to get the ball through to Mane. I think the defender of Granit Xhaka just managed to get the slightest touch to knock it away from him, but he had to be careful there. Now it's with Andre. Andre's got support from João Gomes. Not many players inside the box yet again for Wolves. Only a Rocadare has kind of gone up there. I think he needs a little bit of support inside of the box. Bueno gets his head up, fires it in there, flicked on by Armstrong towards Rocadare. It's away though in the end by Reynaldo. Ball back inside the box for Rocadare. It's then played down by Reynaldo. Back towards Roofs, who's got to be careful. Armstrong's chasing him, and he does manage to clear his lines in the end. Then long downfield, probably will give chase towards it, back towards Bentley in net though. But I think Wolves just need to get more bodies inside the box, because all they've got to aim for is a Rocadare, and Sunderland are just blocking him out every time. Yeah,
there's just no presence, is there? No presence, and not much quality coming into that box either. Again, go back to what I said about what I've seen from Wolves. There's a lack of cutting edge. They had a bit of a mini revival, didn't they, just after Christmas, when Mane came in the team and looked like he was going to, be a threat on counter-attacks, but he's gone quiet. He's not really done anything in this game. And, unless they are counter-attacking with space to run into, then they don't look a problem at all. That Sunderland defence can sit in and they can just do, honest defending jobs in the box, and there's just no threat coming from Wolves from the poor deliveries and from the centre forwards.
Long ball thrown in, then looking for Brobby, and he has been hit in the face there, he says, and goes down for the free kick, which has been given by Paul Tin. You'll see it again there, yeah. Just a slight nudge from Santiago Bueno onto the side of Brobby, and it will be a free kick, but a big goal in the bottom half of League One, down towards the relegation zone. Burton Albion have got an equaliser in their game against Leyton Orient. Of course, if Exeter were winning, Leyton Orient would drop down into the relegation zone on goal difference then, as we get set for the free kick to be taken by Granit Xhaka. He's just taken it onto the left hand side towards Alderete then, who plays it through the centre towards Siddiqui. Xhaka chips a ball through. It's a lovely ball onto Talby. It's a heavy touch from him though on this occasion. He's brought down inside the box, but the referee sees it a different way. I think the flag had gone up, however, onto the run. It's actually Alderete who was making that run in there. actually wasn't offside when the ball was played. It's a lovely touch, but it's just too heavy, and then he gets it taken away. But that's good defending in the end then by Wolves, especially by Mosquera, just coming across Alderete. Nice play from him.
Yeah, interesting that Alderete was the man on the end of that chance there. Centre back, down to 10 men. It's your centre back who's the furthest forward there, but it just shows you how well set up Sunderland are. They can still have those sort of attacking threats from unorthodox areas.
Ball forward for Wolves then. Hugo Bueno has it on the left hand side, passes it through towards Andre back towards Totti Gomez, who just plays it back towards Santiago Bueno. And Bentley now has possession of it with Andre onto João Gomez. There's no urgency from Sunderland at the moment. They're not looking to try and pressure Wolves. They're just letting Wolves just pass it around, and then when it gets to the final third, that's when they put on the pressure, it seems, for Sunderland, as Andre has possession, plays a lovely ball through towards Armstrong, but it's well defended by Hume. Not cleared though by Sunderland yet, until finally it is by Hume, long downfield towards Brobby, who will stop his tracks there because the ball is just with Mosquera, who plays it onto the left hand side for Mane. Mane goes down the line, tries to play a ball in there. Hume is there to block it out, and it goes out for a corner kick for Wolves. We've had a goal in League 2, a big one at the top of the table. Bromley 1, Walsall 0, which means Bromley will win the title because MK Dons are losing to Fleetwood by a goal 2-0, only 1 point separates them as Mane whips in a nice ball. Header comes in from Arokodare, good save by Roofs in net, comfortable one for him, diving down towards the right hand side then, and wants to get his team quickly back underway, but a brilliant header from Arokodare. No real people marking him on that occasion.
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at, is the quality coming in there, and when it does the striker look like he's going to score a goal? And for all the goals he's scored in Belgium, I've got to say he's not convinced me from what I've seen in the last few weeks of Arokodare, and he's not convinced the Wolves fans either. Jürgen Strand Larsen was the centre forward they started the season with. They got a bid in for him, and he basically wanted to leave, didn't he? So they kind of pinned their hopes on Arokodare picking up some of the slack and scoring a few more goals, but he's just not done it, and he doesn't look like he's going to do that either.
He doesn't do so as Mateus Mane has possession of the ball then. Nice footwork from him, and he passes it out to Mosquera. Then onto the right hand side. Ball whipped in towards Arokodare. He does get the header onto it, but it was never towards the goal. Instead, it goes out for a goal kick. Too easy for Sunderland, but Alderete has gone down here, maybe with a little bit of an issue on the right leg, and this will be one that Regis Lebris, one defender already sent off, and you'd be hopeful that one doesn't get injured.
Yeah, it was a decent cross that from Pedro Lima. Arokodare is like the meat in the sandwich. Two Sunderland defenders trying to squeeze him out there, but he climbs above them both, and then it's just a poor header, really. It's well off target, and he's out jumped the two Sunderland defenders, and there's no shot on target at the end of the move. It's so disappointing.
And we'll get ready for the goal kick. We'll take it onto that left hand side. He goes then. All Sunderland players are. Brobby wins the header in there, but João Gomez then wins the other, taken down by Hume. Nice touch from him. Challenge comes in there. It's a hefty one. Two players collide. It's Trey Hume actually with the challenge there. Gomez, Xhaka kind of peers over his own man, making sure he's okay then. Just see that one again. João Gomez is straight back up towards his feet, but Trey Hume in a little bit of discomfort. And he is finally back up towards his feet though, and it will be it'll be a free kick for Sunderland.
Yeah, nothing more than a free kick there. I mean, Hume's gone to ground, so by doing so, you're almost endangering yourself by doing that. Andre Stud's maybe showing for a brief second there, but he's more in control of his challenge than Hume is of his, and the referee will just see that as a foul and no yellow card.
Cross comes in then from Hume, headed away by Arokodare, comes back out towards Reynilda, who just plays it onto the left hand side then. Lovely move by Mukiele onto Siddiqui, lovely footwork from him. He's managed to get away from a few Wolves players there, and before he's hacked down, but the ball went out of play for a throw-in on that left-hand side, but it's lovely footwork from Siddiqui to just get away from Moscara and Gomez, and then it's Lima's challenge actually who comes in, and it will be a free kick for Sunderland, rightly so, given by Paul Tierney. And they'll just wait to take their time with it then. It'll be give it Trey Hume, the man who goes over to try and take it. Camera's focusing on Alderete. As Plymouth have got an equaliser in their game then. Northampton 2, Plymouth 2. That's a big one towards the playoff push for Plymouth then. Of course, Northampton season already over then, as the ball is played towards Siddiqui. Siddiqui tries to play it back through, but he got it all wrong. Got held up then as well by João Gomes, but I think he was maybe looking for the run of Trey Hume to kind of come round him.
Yeah, I don't understand Sunderland's decision making on that set piece. You know, you scored from a set piece earlier on in the game with good delivery into the box. You know, that's probably Wolves' weakness, or it's the weakness they've shown so far defending set pieces. And you know, you don't even put the cross in. They go short to the edge of the penalty area, and it just breaks down from there.
Yeah, Sunderland have dropped 8 points from winning positions, and Wolves have gained 4 from losing. As Hugo Bueno whips the ball in towards Rocadari, who's got in there, and it's just high and rising inside the box, and it's a comfortable catch for Robin Roofs in the end, who comfortably just watches it go up into the air and then comfortably catches it like it's a rugby ball, and Robin Roofs then launches it long downfield. Lovely touch from Mateus Mane into the path of Andre in midfield then. Inside the Sunderland half they go onto Hugo Bueno down this left-hand side, and maybe if he can head more down the left-hand side, he will put Trey Hume under a little bit more pressure, but doesn't seem to want to do so. The ball is switched on to the right then. A few step-overs come in. It's laid off into the path of Armstrong. Whips a ball in there. Headers go in. It was flicked on towards the far post, but it's comfortable in the end for Sunderland, and Hume on the right-hand side can just play it down the line. Held up play by Totti Gomez there. And Bobby does well to win the ball for Sunderland. Ball to the left hand side for Siddiqui now. Rolls the ball out to Enzo Lefebvre then on the left hand side onto Talby. Talby gets the ball back. Lovely little footwork. He was looking for the pass for Brobby there, but no movement really from Brobby, and he just kind of looks down towards the ground to say what was that kind of pass, but I think it needed the movement in front of the defender there.
Yeah, I think he was trying to pick out another teammate, wasn't he? You know, whether Brobby would have been the better pass, maybe for the 1-2 on the edge of the box. You know, that's probably what Brobby thought, but he was looking for a different pass there, and the move broke down. Just going back to that last cross that Wolves put in, you know, it's good service actually from Pedro Lima, and Rocadari actually makes a good run on this occasion. He's the right side of the defender, inside the 6-yard box, coming in on it, and then a flick header, almost an inadvertent flick header at the near post, takes it away from Rocadari. So I mean, you know, how's he look? He's not looked effective really from the service he's had today, Rocadari. But when he does make the right run, a teammate kind of flicks the ball away from him when he probably had a good chance of scoring.
Indeed, as Bentley has possession of the ball, then just plays it onto this right hand side for Lima. Lima through the centre then for Andre. 4 additional minutes has been put up by the fourth official then. Ball onto the left hand side for Hugo Bueno. Just plays it back into the path of Totti Gomez. Hugo Bueno has made a nice run though. Lovely delivery in there. It's above Rocadari's head, and it's also above Lima's head as he was getting forward there as well. And it goes out of play for a throw in, but too overhit, too high up into the air for any players to get their head onto that occasion. It's been the same for Wolves when they've put a few of them balls in. They've
put a lot of crosses in this half. I mean, if you look at the stats at half time, the amount of crosses they've put in, you know, it's a really high volume for a Premier League game, this, and you can see why they're doing it. You know, they've got a target man, they've got a focal point in the middle there in Rocadari, who's not, you know, a couple of his headers have gone straight up in the air and been easy for Roofs to come out and claim, or they've gone wide when he should have been hitting the target. But the quality on the crosses hasn't been great either, and we just seen another one there which went over 2 players' heads.
Yeah, the free kick for Wolves here, and a yellow card will be brandished by the referee. Speaking to Alderete, we'll just see it again. It'll be for Brian Brobby's stomp on the back of Moscara then, and Brobby has been awarded a yellow card for that foul, and left Mosquera in a little bit of a crumpled heap here, and he doesn't look good.
No, he has got a streak in him, Brian Brobby, but I do think Yerson Mosquera has made a lot of this. You know, he's really trying to milk it, and even his own teammates are trying to pull him up now, saying, you know, you've made your point. You're not going to get the guy sent off. Just get up and get on with it. And that tells its own story when his own teammates are dragging him up off the ground.
Yeah, indeed, he's back up towards his feet now, and the referee's had a word with him as well, and so has a few of his other players then. And Sunderland will get ready to defend this free kick then, which will come in by Mateus Mane, as Mosquera heads towards the far post then. He's whipped in by Mane, headers go in, but they're wide of the post, too easy in that end, and it's miles out of play. Santiago Bueno was the man who managed to get his head towards it, but couldn't convert it towards Robin Roofs' net, and in the end it goes straight out of play for a goal kick. Well, Wolves fans not in full voice, just chatting around the grounds, looking pretty dull-faced really. And you know, as you would be having to watch this every week, it's poor. It really is poor from Wolves. Rob Edwards trying to get a tune out of his team, but they look devoid of confidence. They look devoid of any kind of cohesion. You know, they're putting crosses into the penalty area, but the crosses are either not finding the target, or they just seem to have some very poor headers from the Wolves players who are on the end of the crosses. Indeed, another goal in League One in the playoff chase then. Bolton 2, Luton 1. As the ball's onto the left hand side then for Siddiqui. Turns into a little bit of trouble with Lima, who hacked down the feet of Siddiqui and has won himself another free kick. A few challenges going in by Lima now, and I think the referee will be totting a few of those up. A few silly ones going in there. There's a few silly ones coming from some of the Wolves players as well, some of the Sunderland players, as they get ready to take the free kick. Robin Roos stands over it then. As he was in discussion, he's telling his players just to go forward. He's looking towards a diagonal pass. It's like right hand side, I thought he was, but instead he goes down the left. He was looking for the run of Talby, but doesn't get it on this occasion. The ball too overhit, and a bit of a wasteful free kick there.
Yeah, I think it was one of those, let's just get to half-time. You know, I'm not going to kick this one short. I'm going to make sure we get to half-time with a 1-0 lead, and he certainly did that.
Yes, he did indeed then. And at the break then, chances for Sunderland, chances for Wolves as well in this game. But Sunderland are leading at the break after going 10-man down with the sending off of Dan Ballard. It was the header from Nordi Mukiele which separates the two sides then. At the break, Wolves 0, Sunderland 1.
Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Sunderland down to 10 men, though, after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tugging on the... Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tugging on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nordi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves, both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tugging on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nordi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves, both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crosses into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nodi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Wolves-0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through the half for tucking on the dreadlocks of Tolu Arokadare. Sunderland already a goal to the good at that point. Nudi Mukiele heading home a Granit Xhaka corner, and Sunderland have had plenty more chances than Wolves both before and after the red card for Ballard. Wolves look disorganised, they look lacking cohesion in getting crossed into the box for Tolu Arokadare, who's missed 3 headers at the very least. At half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sunderland 1. Half-time at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, Sunderland 1, but the Black Cats down to 10 men after Dan Ballard was sent off midway through. Yeah, well, welcome back. Second half about to get underway, and news of a substitution to bring you. It's for Wolves, and they're sending on Rodrigo Gomez, attacking wide player. I'm not sure who's come off just yet, but you think, you know, they've got to go for it, haven't they? They're a goal down against 10 men here.
Yeah, they are. They are indeed. They didn't go for it within the first half, so they've definitely got to push that. Got to get the push on rail. I think Rob Edwards would have given them a very hard team talk about them pushing forward, trying to get more bodies in the box, because the only person they really had to aim for was Arokadare. So I think they've just got to try and push up a little bit higher, try and get more bodies inside the box, and it gives them more people to aim at them.
Yeah, I'm just scanning around to see who may have come off. Is it possibly Pedro Lima, the right wing back? Yeah. So yeah, Rodrigo Gomez is a right-sided, more attacking player than him, and he's going to try and create some damage now as he gets the ball. His first touch is to chest it down from a crossfield switch, and he sends it back to Mosquera. Wolves holding possession near halfway, trying to draw Sunderland onto them a little bit. So going back to Dan Bentley. Bentley takes a touch outside his box, then kicks long into the Sunderland half. It's over the head of Arokadare, headed away by Alderete, collected by Andre, passes it wide to Hugo Bueno. He advances to about 30 yards out, knocks it back into Andre's feet. Now João Gomez drives forward, looking for a shot, drags it into the body of Sunderland play, I think, Granit Xhaka comes back to Rodrigo Gomez, cuts in off the left hand, off the right hand side. Now he feeds the ball in towards Armstrong's feet. Armstrong couldn't take it, and it's cleared by Alderete out for a throw.
Yeah, indeed, really nice play there from Wolves. The shot came in from distance, saw the gap kind of open up. It was a nice little play down this right hand side as well with Rodrigo Gomez. He tried to pass it through to Armstrong, who then got dispossessed, but it's out for a throw in, and it'll be a dangerous one for Sunderland.
They seem to get obsessed with crossing in the first half, Wolves, but we've seen from the early play in the second half that they've neglected the opportunity to cross on a couple of occasions. Long throw in goes into the Sunderland box. He's not dealt with by Sunderland. Could be a chance here for Wolves to equalise. Player goes down, and then Armstrong's shot is blocked at close range. Sunderland throwing bodies in there to keep that ball out of the back of their own net.
Yeah, indeed, loads of bodies flying around there. Shots were kind of coming in there, but Wolves just couldn't quite convert it into the back of Robin Roof's net.
Cross does go in now from Mane, and a Rokodare slips. Dear oh dear, just not going his way today. Cross goes over his head, and Sunderland clear. Now they're looking to break themselves down the left-hand side with Brobby. It looks like Mosquera had a good full hand, or Totti Gomez rather, had a full handful of his shirt. Referee not interested in his claims for a free kick. Wolves play away, up to the halfway line again. Sunderland have retreated now to sort of two banks of four with Brobby as a lone striker. And now Andre it is, who brings it forward, knocks it sideways to João Gomez. Then feeding it wide left to Bueno. Armstrong, Rokodare and Mane in the box to aim for. But again, they don't cross. They're going to take the extra pass. So definite change in emphasis from the first half the first half approach from Wolves. They're being more patient, waiting for the chance to get a good quality crossing, not just throwing balls in. And they've worked it from one side of the box to another. So Hugo Bueno, he tries to go on the outside now to the byline. Now he stands the ball up and it goes onto the chest of a teammate. I think it was Rodrigo Gomez who brings it down, knocks it back wide to the left. Mosquera, Andre. Again, it's patient build up this from Wolves, but they're not penetrating that Sunderland penalty area. Now they might. They go back to João Gomez. He puts a cross into the near post. Flicked header is just gone wide. It was trying to work out who it was that threw themselves at it. It was Yerson Mosquera from the back who got the header, but it went off target.
It did indeed, but yeah, like you said, more of a patient build-up now coming for Wolves. They're not just trying to throw the ball inside the box and try and cross it in. They're thinking about it. They're thinking about the movement of it. This one's a nice ball, but Mosquera, it just comes off the top of his head, and he was always going to go wide. We'll see another one of that free kick. It fell to Rokodare. He couldn't quite get his shot off because it was a little bit behind him. Neither could Santiago Bueno. So it was just a scramble. I think Sunderland are somewhat lucky maybe to not come away that Wolves are a bit unlucky not to come away with a goal.
Yeah, it's just 3 or 4 minutes gone second half, and Wolves definitely looking a more threatening prospect for an equaliser than they were in the first half. They've got the ball again at the back, and now they bring it forward with Santiago Bueno. Run from Rokodare and Mane, trying to create some room. Now Mane gets it in the hole. Loose first touch, second touch is a tackle. His performance has left a lot to be desired today, Matthias Mane. Still only a teenager, I think, but not been at it today. That's a good interception, though, from Andre. He feeds it up towards Armstrong, who drives towards goal, straight at Roofs, who makes an easy save. Yeah,
this is better, though, from Wolves now, picking up more of Sunderland's silly passes, and this one inside of their own half. It was a lovely ball through towards Armstrong, and had he got his head up, maybe the ball through towards Rodrigo Gomez was the better option, but he said he tried the shot, but it was a comfortable save in the end.
Yeah, he's not really been extended yet, Robin Roofs. Made some standard saves, but nothing where you'd say that is top draw stuff. We know he's capable of it, though, as again Wolves come through midfield. Andre passes it out to the right hand side for Rodrigo Gomez. Yerson Mosquera has gone beyond him to try and create some room. It goes back to João Gomez. Rodrigo Gomez again inside to Andre. Andre on his right foot slides it into Armstrong. First time ball to Mane, who turns on the edge of the box, flips across in towards the back post, headed away by Hume and picked up by Bueno. Bueno just protecting the ball, keeping Wolves in possession. They're going backwards though. Now across from Totti Gomez. He's lifted towards the back post. Attempt on the volley is terrible from Yerson Mosquera. Well, he's had 2 shots now in the space of a few minutes and may well hide his head there after that was an awful attempt that went well wide.
Yeah, it's probably not the man that you want on the end of this ball, but it's a lovely one in there. And actually, I think he's in 2 minds of what foot to go with, because he looks like he's going to go with his left foot, and then he goes with his right instead, and he's got it all wrong. He turns his foot too much, and on that occasion then he should have just put his laces through it. He doesn't, and it goes miles wide the post. But maybe if it's Armstrong or Mane who's on to the end of it, it may end up in the back of the net.
Yeah, he's not really covered himself in glory today, Yerson Mosquera, given this opportunity by Rob Edwards. He's obviously just given away a foul as well there now for a free kick to Sunderland inside his own half. I think it's fair to say he's quite an emotional player. He seems to plays a little bit with an emotional edge, but it's got the better of him today.
Yeah, it has indeed. I think now after missing those 2 chances, it's whether it gets to him a little bit. Does this put him under a little bit more pressure now, and does he feel that maybe the substitution might be for him instead?
Free kick Sunderland. They're not committing too many bodies forward here. Granit Xhaka has got his hands on his hips ready to take the free kick. The only goal in the game coming from their first half corner, scored by Nordi Mukiele, who's lurking towards the back post as they line up for this delivery from Xhaka. Sends it in towards the centre of the penalty area. It's headed away by Bueno. Comes back to the edge, and Mukiele is there. He threatens to cross, puts in a deep ball to the back post, which is overcooked, and goes all the way out for a goal kick. Penalty at G-Tech Community Stadium to the home side. Yeah, penalty for Brentford. Of course, they're 1-0 up in their game against West Ham. Newcastle still 2-0 up against Brighton. That was a nice little ball inside of the box from that free kick. It was a lovely, nice little delivery, but nobody could get on to the end of it. Oh, João Gomez does well. Takes it in traffic and tries to move it forward. Finds Mane down the right hand side. They come in with Rodrigo Gomez. His cross is blocked by Ronaldo for a corner. They're cutting through Sunderland now with some incisive passing through the centre of the pitch. Much better from Wolves, but still lacking that final ball.
Yeah, it's that final third ball that's letting them down, and maybe that crucial finish as well. They had that one where it's a little bit frantic inside the box, and nobody could quite turn it home. And then, of course, they had that one with Armstrong, and the ones, of course, with Mosquera.
Corner from the right-hand side. It's going to be sent in left-footed, I think, by Hugo Bueno. He puts it in high towards the back post, headed down, and it's in the back of the net. Wolves have their equaliser. It's Santiago Bueno. It's Bueno to Bueno, and Wolves are on level terms. Well, it had been coming for Wolves. They put the pressure on 10-man Sunderland there. Siddiqui has stayed down inside of the box, but it's Santiago Bueno's header that has put Wolves equal now on the goal score with Sunderland. Wolves 1, Sunderland 1, but it's a lovely header. And I think it's a bit like the one with Mukiele, where he just heads it down into the ground. He does. It's in the exact same position that Mukiele's was in there. And yet again, there's 3 players there. There's Hume and there's Alderete, and I couldn't quite see the other one. But 3 players surrounding Santiago Bueno there. And somehow he's managed to come away with the header and the goal. Yeah, very similar, wasn't it, to Sunderland's set-piece goal. But we're just saying at the near post, Siddiqui went down very easily for me. I don't think that's going to get checked by VAR. Well, it's going to get checked by VAR, but there's going to be no overturn there for the goal. So we are back all square now. Wolves 1, 10-man Sunderland 1. The VAR check is going on here, but I don't see anything wrong with this. They're looking at the near post. I mean, he doesn't extend his arm there. I think it's Mosquera, so it'd be just typical that the afternoon he's having, that if this goal is disallowed. Oh no, it's Totti Gomez actually. So anyway, the referee's waved it away. I think we're going to... No foul, decision goal. Yep. Yeah, I think that's the right decision, definitely by the referee, Totti Gomez. For me there, it's Siddiqui who has a hold of Totti Gomez, and he's just trying to kind of shove him ever so slightly off of his arm. And in the end, Siddiqui has just kind of fallen to the floor, maybe looking towards the referee and hoping that was a foul. But for me, Sunderland there, 3 players around Santiago Bueno, and not one of them has got to the ball. Yeah, very similar to that Sunderland opener. Yellow card has been shown now to a Sunderland player. Granit Xhaka has taken his protest a bit too far, I think. Protest about the goal. He said too much to referee Tierney, and he gets a yellow card for his trouble. He's still carrying on his argument. I mean, he's the captain, he's allowed to talk to the referee, but he must have spoken out of turn there. We don't know what was said. Ball's been sent back to Ruffs, who clears long downfield. It's headed back by Bueno, who was the architect of that goal, with the corner. Sunderland on the attack, though. They turn it over in midfield. Now it's played out to the right-hand side for Try Hume to try and bustle. No, so Talby, isn't it, down the right-hand side. He's managed to keep it in play. Gets his cross in towards the near post. Volley clear by Wolves. They make a bit of a mess of the second clearance, but eventually get it upfield. And it's brought down, and it's lost again by Wolves. They're very scrappy in possession, but they've worked it away again now, up towards Arokadare. He's bounced off the challenge there, would-be challenge of Alderete, and now Wolves looking threatening. In fact, this is Mane, not Arokadare, who carries it forward. And Mane's awful pass straight to Reinildo. There was I mean, it's harder to get that pass wrong than it is get it right. There was an acre to pass it into, and he's gone straight to the defender.
Yeah, indeed, and even he knows that. He had Mosquera, who was aiming towards that right-hand side, and Matthias Mane, well, he looks up, looks for that pass, and just passes it, like you said, just straight into Reinildo. And for me, you know, you can say Mosquera's had a few bad ones, but that is the pick of the bunch, really, for Matthias Mane, because that pass is so easy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's poor from Mane. He might get a chance to redeem himself now, but he doesn't make the right run. As the ball was fed through into the penalty area, he was on his heels. And Sunderland clear. You know, I can see him being hauled off here. He's obviously a very popular player for the potential he's got, and you know, the ability he's got as well, but he's not showing it today, and it wouldn't surprise me if Rob Edwards took him off. He's lost in this game.
Yeah, I think maybe Rob Edwards will be looking at his side, and maybe a few of them might be coming off Mane, maybe the likes of Mosquera as well, but these are the changes he's brought on Rodrigo Gomes. I think maybe he's looking to maybe see if Regis Labrie makes a change, maybe a defensive change or an attacking change, and then try and make his change to try and maybe balance that out, but at the moment, he hasn't.
It's always a difficult one, isn't it, with a young player? You know, you sort of haul him off after a bad display, you're destroying the confidence, so the fans going to think that's the bad move, but he wants to win the game, doesn't he? And Matthias Mane is not contributing anything at all. Maybe he will now. He gets the ball out on the left-hand side, edge of the penalty area, puts a cross in towards the centre. That's a defensive header from Arokadare. I have no idea what he's doing there. Can you explain that one?
No, I don't think I can really. He's maybe trying to head it down towards one of his players, but it's so high up into the air that he's just headed it straight back down towards Sunderland. Nobody for Wolves has got a hold of the ball, and for me, Arokadare, maybe he's the one that has to be hoiked as well off of the field, because he's not had a good game at all today either.
If you look at the highlights, Arokadare's just individual highlights for today's game, you would be forgiven for thinking he was a defender, because his headers in the penalty area are defensive headers. They're not towards goal, they're up in the air. In that case, that was even backwards out of the penalty area. His teammates must be thinking, what's going on? You know, has he had a bang to the head before the game or something and thinks he's a defender? It's just bizarre. Sunderland have a free kick at the other end of the pitch, because Wolves made a right mess of trying to clear the lines there. Dan Bentley had gone walkabout outside his penalty area. He then had to come back and kick it clear. It was all very hurried, and they've given away a free kick, which Sunderland will take now. Chipped into the box. Arokadare with a good defensive header in the right penalty area. However, there was a push in the back of another teammate, and Wolves have a free kick, which Bentley's going to take. He just plays it short. Bueno knocks it out to Mosquera, who clips it down the line. This is one for Rodrigo Gomes to chase. He's going to give chase as well to the corner flag, where he's up against Reinildo. Back heels it to the benefit of Sunderland's Brazilian defender, and then they make a mistake playing out from the back and give it straight back out for a throw into Wolves.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. I think for Rodrigo Gomes, I think maybe he was hoping that Mane or somebody like that would be in behind him, so he thought about the back heel, and it didn't go to anybody. It just ended up back with Alderete, who then played an awful pass out towards Reinildo, and that has led to Wolves being on the attack again. Ball
out to the right hand side for Mosquera, who's high up on that flank. He looks up, tries to deliver a cross, which doesn't even stay in play. That is so poor. He had time as well. Oh dear. An hour gone. I think Rob Edwards wishes he could change half the team now, but he can't. And I probably want to change half the team in the summer as well, but I guess the answer to that is probably he can't as well.
Yeah, probably so, but I think we see maybe Regis Labrie he's got the notepad out. He's making maybe some changes towards his side, maybe sending a few players out to see who he can kind of bring on now on this hour mark. I know a few managers like to leave it until about 65 minutes into the game and then maybe make a few changes. But I think for Regis Labrie, actually, I know Dan Ballard got that red card, but he's not even had to change his defence at all. He's just slotted Nordi Mukiele in there and dropped Trey Hume onto that right wing back spot, and it's just worked perfectly for them.
Yeah, maybe fortunate that he had that ability to cover within the team already. It's a good ball into the penalty area there from the right hand side, almost picks out Brobby, but Bentley comes out and rolls it out. But again, it's not just luck, is it? It's the way the team's been structured by Regis Labrie, that they've got those adaptable players in the side that can change their roles mid-game and still deliver a performance. Here's Mane out on the right hand side now. Comes in on his left foot, crosses towards the back post. Good chance for Rokodare, and he's missed the header again.
Yeah, it's nice play though by Wolves on this right hand side. Ever since Rodrigo Gomez has come into the game, he's been lively for them. He made the run there. Mane didn't want to see it though. He cut that ball nicely in there. It's a lovely delivery straight on towards Rokodare, and yeah, he just completely misses the header. He actually turns his head away from the ball as well, and on this occasion what should have been maybe a simple header into Robin Rousseau's net has ended up being a miss for Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't expect anything more from Rokodare now. He's set this low bar for his performance level. They're getting crosses into him again, and he didn't even make contact with that one. It's just, I don't know. He scored loads of goals in Belgium. He won the Ebony Boot, which is the division's best player. It's weird how he's just not able to get a shot on target in this game, or in several other games I've seen him in this season. Clearly going through a crisis of confidence, but Wolves in their situation, they've got to play him. Hope that he can come through it. Wolves on the ball in defence now with Bueno. 63 minutes on the clock, 1-1. They were trailing at half time. Remember, they're against 10 men after Ballard was sent off in the first half for a hair pull on a Rokodare. Now Totti Gomez plays it back to Bentley. Bentley just playing it short now to Santi Bueno. Plays a nice ball through the lines. Rokodare just about holds it up now for Mosquera. He goes down in a challenge, claiming a foul, and he gets the free kick for his troubles. And there's a Sunderland player down as well in Brobby. Now, what's gone on here? Well, he's still on his toe. So I think he was being fouled there, Mosquera, but in going down, he's stuck his boot out and he's trod on the toe of Brian Brobby, who's slow to get up. But, this is... It's just a free kick.
Yeah, it is indeed. It's just a stamp on Brian Brobby, who's looking up towards the referee and maybe wants a yellow card for the challenge, but he's not going to get one. And it will be a free kick in the end, but it's Mosquera again then. Yeah, he was being fouled, but then he put that challenge in as well. But I think for Rob Edwards, you've got to the 65th minute mark now. I think the changes have got to come from him.
Here's Matías Mane on the ball again. Plays it out to the right for Rodrigo Gomez. Mane makes an overlapping run. Rodrigo Gomez comes inside, gets a 1-2 there with Andre, faces up to goal again, knocks it wide. They just can't get any penetration in the box. Now across from Mane towards the back post, headed clear by Sunderland defence and Mukiele. Sunderland unable to really push out though with any great authority. Brighton have got a goal back at St James's Park. It's 2-1 to Newcastle in that game now. Still Brentford lead 2-0, so they've got some daylight against West Ham. And in the match that we're bringing you off-tube studio-based commentary on, it's 1-1 between Wolves and 10-man Sunderland with 65 minutes on the clock. Bentley well outside his penalty area now, passes it sideways to Totti Gomez. They're trying to invite this press from Sunderland, which is starting to come now. Sunderland can't resist the ability to the temptation to press. Now they chip it over the top, looking for a Rokodare, but a towering header away by Hume. Picked up in midfield by Sunderland. They've got bodies coming forward again now. They go back to try Hume on the halfway line. Sunderland able to just pass it round for a few moments here as Brobby tries to win a free kick and gets a free kick from Mosquera. He's lent on Mosquera, who's held him there, and the referee's given the free kick Sunderland's way.
Yeah, he has indeed, and Mosquera's got to be careful here because he's continuing to argue with the referee on that challenge. We'll see this one again. It's nice by Brobby. he's just been held up by Mosquera as they both go for the ball there. It's nice from Robbie. He's got ahead of Mosquera. He's beating him towards the ball, and Mosquera just pulls him back. Always going to be a free kick.
Well, in this situation, Robbie's a lone striker playing against 3 centre-backs, and he's picked on the weakest one, as he would as a centre-forward. You just pick on the weakest candidate of the 3 and just try and play on him all the time, and he's doing that to Yerson Mosquera now. And he's winning good free kicks for his team. Here's Xhaka's cross, headed away by the Wolves defence. But they've lost it on the edge of the box again. Here's Siddiqui now, in traffic, knocks it back to Lefay. He finds the pass to Xhaka. Xhaka twists away from Andre, going central in the pitch. Now knocks it sideways to Alderete. Sunderland seeking a second goal to retake the lead. A man down. And now running across the edge of the box here. With a shot is Lefay into a crowded body. He's held up by Siddiqui. A shot comes in. Deflected, I think, wide for a corner.
Yeah, shot came in there. Lovely from Trey Hume. He was looking to bend it towards the goalkeeper's right-hand side, but it took that vital deflection. Goes out for a corner kick. We can see changes coming for Sunderland. 2 changes, it looks like, for Regis Labrie to make.
Yeah, they'll have to wait till after this corner, though, because Enzo Lefay is ready to take it. Lots of holding and blocking going on at the far post as Lefay's corner comes in towards the back post. A free header headed across the face, and nobody there for Sunderland to convert. But how on earth Sunderland have got a free header there, a man down with an attacking set piece. They've got a free header at the back post, but they just don't make the best of it, and they've gone all the way back now to Robin Roofs, who can pick up a back header inside his penalty. I don't know why he delayed that then. It's a back header, you can pick it up, but he waited far too long, almost tempting Rodrigo Gomez to foul him, and he did get fouled. Now the referee gives him a free kick, which he'll have to take off the ground.
I think maybe he was hoping that Rodrigo Gomez would kind of run in on him and maybe get the yellow card, but on this occasion it doesn't work out. But yeah, coming back to that free header, all it is one that has to go back towards the 6-yard box. Instead it's played back towards the penalty spot, and in the end there's no Sunderland players really there to get onto the end of it. It was behind all of them. What it needed was just that flick towards the back stick yet again, the other back stick, and there would have been plenty of Sunderland players there.
Well, we've reached that midpoint of the second half now. It's Wolves 1, Sunderland 1 to take you through to full time. It's going to be Joseph Pearson.
Here comes Sunderland then on the right hand side then with Hume. Plays a ball forward. He was looking for Enzo Lefay. It was cut out this time by Totti Gomez. Good defending from him, and it will be a Sunderland throw in now. I do wonder when they're going to make the changes, but they're just going to wait it out for the time being. Ball is with Siddiqui, puts a nice ball inside the box. He was looking for Brobby. It was a little bit overhit and runs out of play for a throw in to Wolves. Then on that right hand side, 3 changes actually coming for Sunderland. One of them I can see is Wilson Isidore, and can't see the others on the sidelines then, but yeah, Wilson Isidore is one of them. They're all getting things from Regis Labrie ready to come on to the field, but they won't come on. The throw-in has been taken and a free kick has been given for the challenge on Rocadari. No player has played more Premier League games without completing 90 minutes in any of them this season than Sunderland's Wilson Isidore, 29. He's been subbed off in all 11 of his starts and come off the bench 18 times. He now makes it 19 that he'll be coming off of the bench then, as Mosquera has the ball, goes into the Sunderland half, picks it up as Matheus Mane, takes it on the half turn but runs into a little bit of trouble, and it's easy for Alderete, who just tries to pass it into the path of Granit Xhaka. He gets into a little bit of confusion there, he turns himself into a little bit of trouble, back towards his goalkeeper though, and it's picked long downfield by Robin Roos, but just ends back up with Wolves at the moment, with Mosquera, who plays it down onto the right hand side then for Rodrigo Gomez. Rodrigo Gomez round the back of Reynaldo, cuts it back towards Mane. Mane looks for the shot, he takes a deflection, brilliant save from Roofs. Brilliant stop on that one. The deflection wasn't easy, but here comes Sunderland then down the right hand side with Hume. Brilliant defending in the end though from João Gomez, and João Gomez then just plays it on to the path of Andre, who plays it down this left hand side then for Hugo Bueno. He stayed up, does a few step overs, lays it off to Andre. Andre then puts it into Mosquera, who will open up his boot, and he will do, but it's wide of the post on this occasion there. And maybe the better option was to pass it once more onto that right hand side for Rodrigo Gomez, but instead he saw the gap open up. But this is where we see the shot come in from Mane, and it's a brilliant save from Roofs.
Yeah, it was struck very well. He was heading towards the far corner, but Roofs has been so good at shot stopping. You mentioned how Sunderland have been very good at not conceding high percentage of their shots this season. Roofs has been one of the reasons behind that, and he pulls out another good save.
He does indeed. So 3 changes come for Sunderland. Brobby, Siddiqui, Reynildo are all coming off. Diarra, Isidore, the third one, Sirkin is coming onto the field then. So changes have been made. Of course, Brian Brobby on that yellow card. You don't really want to risk him after having Dan Ballard on the red as well. And on come the changes then for Sunderland.
Yeah, obviously Sirkin and Isidore were key members of their promotion-winning side last season. Got a good understanding. Sirkin will just slot in at left back, provide some freshness there. Reynildo hasn't always finished games this season anyway. Diarra, fresh legs in midfield, gets about the park a lot. Presence in the box as well for defensive headers and attacking headers. So good changes for Sunderland again, showing how strong a bench they've got. They made some good signings in the summer, obviously, but they had a lot of players as well to have come through in the promotion-winning side, and they've just added to that squad.
Ball onto the left-hand side then for João Gomez, but I think maybe it's time for Rob Edwards to look at these changes, maybe make a few changes himself. Maybe he's waiting until that 75-minute mark to make them, but at the moment we don't see any sign of it.
No, I don't know what he's going to do, to be honest. I don't know whether there's the quality there to come on and make a difference. There's players there that haven't played well today. Here's Mosquera, they were trying to bring about a change.
He is down this right-hand side. He plays it into Rodrigo Gomez, who tries to cut it back towards Mateus Mane. And here's Sirkin then with possession of the ball, and he's challenged there by João Gomez, who wanted the throw-in to go his way, but it goes Sunderland's instead then. Ball played through towards Wilson Isidore. Lovely chest down from him. Lovely challenge comes in though from Totti Gomez. Just sticks a leg out there. It's a high one. It's always a risky one to make, but here they come with Hume. He tries to play it through towards Enzo Lefebvre. Doesn't get it off on this occasion. Now with João Gomez. Gomez has been dispossessed though. Xhaka will try the shot down towards the goalkeeper's left-hand side, and it just goes wide of the post there. Coming really out of nothing from Granit Xhaka. Ball cut back towards him, and he just saw the space open up.
Yeah, he's within his rights to have a shot there. He gambled on Totti Gomez losing that under pressure, and that's exactly what happened. Ball's turned over, played into the edge of the box, and he's just tried to run onto it and slide it beyond Bentley. Bentley saw it late, put a dive in, but it was going wide. Was indeed then. So it's still Wolves 1, Sunderland 0. Sunderland down to 10 men in that game. Ball onto the left-hand side then. Looking for Mateus Mane. Alderete is there, however, though, and a long ball downfield towards Talbot. It's nearly picked up there by Enzo Lefebvre. Has Talbot kept it in? He hasn't, but it does go out for the throw-in. Came off of a Wolves man last, and they will take their time now with the ball. As Mukiele gets ready to take it, throws it back towards his goalkeeper Roofs then. Roofs is looking onto that left-hand side. I'm seeing no signs that Sunderland are settling for a point here. They're 1-1 away from home, playing with 10 men, and have played with 10 men now for about an hour. Maybe a bit less than an hour, but they're really going for this winner.
Yeah, indeed, with Granit Xhaka now cuts it back. Shot comes in from Diarra. It's a very poor one. Just let you know how poor it is. It's gone out for a throw-in on that right-hand side then for Wolves, and one that Diarra, well, maybe just wants to forget.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't sort his legs out there, did he? They were all over the place, and he was off balance trying to hit a shot. A worldie of a shot really from the top into the top corner. He could have taken a touch to steady himself. I think there was that much time because Wolves were just, again, dreadful in defence.
Ball onto the right hand side then for Diarra. He plays it on to Hume and then gets it back off of him. Ball inside the box isn't the best. It's cut out though easily by Gomez. And the ball is then played on to the left hand side. It takes the touch off of Enzo Lefebvre and goes out for a Wolves throw in, which they'll take their time in taking. Out of 245 shots for Sunderland, 115 have been on target. And out of 237 shots for Wolves, 108 have been on target. Only 24 goals this season for them, 36 for Sunderland, as Sirkin has possession of the ball on the left hand side then. That's with Xhaka. Xhaka on to Diarra. Diarra keeps it into that corner flag, maybe looking for the corner kick here. He gets a throw in for his troubles though. And there's nothing really there that Santiago Bueno could do about that one. A few of his Wolves players go, just let him do what he wants to do in that corner kick, but he couldn't really. And it will be a throw in, which Mukiele will take. It'll be a long throw in from Mukiele. You see Wilson Isidore on our screens there, bandage around the arm as they get ready to take this long throw in then by Mukiele. A lot of players pushing and shoving. Goes towards the near post, flicked on by Alderete towards Isidore. Tries to get his head up, comes back out towards Diarra. He puts it back in there. Headers away though by Wolves. Cleared finally long downfield. Mane has picked it up. He's got Rodrigo Gomez. Instead he switches it onto that left hand side. It's a touch by Rokodare, who then switches it back towards Mane. It's a poor ball in the end. So overhit. He had a simple ball onto that left hand side instead, but he overhits it towards Matheus Mane and it goes out for a throw in. Maybe the better option, left hand side.
Yeah, frankly it's abysmal from Wolves, you know. I don't know what a Rokodare, you know, it's not a hard pass. He gets it all wrong. Wolves are going to make a change now. One of their better players is coming off. He's taking off Hugo Bueno. He's done nothing wrong all day. And Angel Gomez comes. They change of formation. That's what this will be. So Matheus Mane will go out and play in a different position. I think he's just been told that by his manager, Rob Edwards.
Indeed then. So off comes Hugo Bueno and on comes another Gomez. Angel Gomez comes onto the field as Sunderland get ready to take this throw with Sirkin, and he just chucks it down the line, gets another one for his troubles then.
Sunderland has scored a lot of late goals this season, you know, that's because of their their fitness levels, and they've got this sort of mentality as well, never say die, and you know, you can just see it coming again, can't you? Wolves are low on confidence, Sunderland surging forward, and the late goal's probably going to be coming Sunderland's way.
Yeah, indeed. Diarra tries the shot. Wilson Isidore comes coming in towards the net there to try and steal that away from Bentley, but couldn't quite get onto the end of it. Long ball downfield by Bentley isn't the best one. Picked up so easily by Sunderland in defence then. Sunderland down this right hand side it goes. Mukiele now has possession of it. Onto Alderete on the left hand side. He just plays it back towards Mukiele and plays it into the path of Wilson Isidore. Has he been dragged down there? The referee says no. And play continues with Sirkin on the left hand side. Onto Diarra then. Diarra through the middle of the park. Flicked on by Enzo Lefebvre. He was looking for the run of Isidore. Doesn't get it though. The ball back towards the goalkeeper then in Bentley, who just quickly plays it on to Mosquera. Newport have equalised in their game, of course. They're trying to escape the relegation zone, and because they have got that equaliser, it puts them a point above it. Harrogate now drop into that relegation zone. Of course, if Harrogate were to win, it would put Crawley back in there then. Ball on to the right hand side for Matheus Mane. Mane cuts back towards his defender in Santiago Bueno, who just plays it onto that left hand side for Totti Gomez. Gomez looks for Matheus Mane. Ball switched on to the right hand side. It's a lovely one, lovely touch by Matheus Mane. Does he get clipped there by Sirkin? He does so. It will be a free kick, and a yellow card will be brandished for Sirkin. It was a lovely switch of play there, and a lovely move and a lovely touch by Matheus Mane. And he's got a free kick for his troubles then. Sirkin goes diving in onto him and just ever so slightly gets the touch. Well, Wolves have failed to score in a league high 18 different Premier League games this season. The last time to fail in more were Norwich City in 2021. The 2021 to 2022 season with 22, while it's Wolves' third most in a top flight campaign after 1983 to 84 season, which was 22, and the 1981 to 82 season, which was 20. As the free kick is taken, headed away though by Sunderland. Ball back inside of the box is a dangerous run. Roofs comes for it and spills it twice there, but manages to get it back and launch it long downfield for Isidore there, who, well, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in an offside position anyway, but heavy touch from him just leads it straight back for Wolves, but nearly a quick counter-attack there.
Yeah, they're going straight down the heart there, weren't they? Looking to release Isidore, but Wolves were able to shut the door on that occasion. I think Sunderland, they've got the back four sorted. Midfield is obviously been refreshed by Diarra coming on. They just need that ball to fall for Isidore up front to get a winner in this game.
Ball inside the box, header comes in from the near post, brilliant save from Roofs. He pushes it high over the bar. It's a lovely header that came in from Armstrong, unmarked, beautiful ball, but Roofs with a brilliant save.
Yeah, it was a good run from Armstrong across the defender, headed it, sort of flicked header towards the far corner, but Roofs tipped it over the bar.
Does indeed. Then Brentford have got a third in their game against West Ham. Then Damsgaard it is who has got the third. Well, Isidore actually started in his own halfway line, and he wouldn't have been offside. Ball comes back out towards Andre. He tries the shot, well deflected towards the back stick. Rokodaria heads it down, but only into the path of Alderete. There's a few half-hearted appeals here for a handball on Alderete. I thought it may have come off his knee. VAR, of course, will have a check of it then, and the referee is just halting his tracks for a moment. He's heard something within his ear, and VAR, of course, will have a look at it.
I think his arms were by his side. I think you'd be really harsh to give this as a penalty. The defender seemed to have his arms down by his side and not in a natural position. I think it's one of those where, maybe having watched the Champions League this week, anything that hits the arm gets given as a penalty. This in the Premier League, slightly higher bar to achieve a penalty. Yeah,
it won't be a penalty. VAR have had a look at it. Andre flicks it on into the path of Rokodari. Tries to square it across towards maybe Mateus Mane there, but here come Sunderland then. Ball forward is a good one, but it's cut out. Brilliant running and brilliant tracking back there from Andre. He was up against Talbot. It was the two number 7s going up against each other, but at the moment it's a real, as soon as Wolves, they're pushing everybody forward, which means there's basically nobody back, and it is allowing Sunderland for these quick counter-attacks now.
Yeah, I mean, Sunderland, they know what's going to work. Wolves have pushed so high up, and they're leaving the back door open. It just takes a bit of accuracy on one of those long balls to catch them out.
Does indeed. Ball forward then for Wolves on this left hand side. It's with Andre. He's been shoved and pulled off of the ball here, but he's managed to, well, he's actually won himself a free kick. I was going to say he's managed to stay on his feet there, but he's on his side a free kick which they've wanted to take him quickly, but the referee's just pulled it back and said it's not in the right position, so here they will have to retake this one then, and they'll take their time with it as well. Sunderland just kicked the ball away from them. 5 minutes left to go. Still Wolves 1, Sunderland 1. Of course, that is with the additional time being added on. Ball down this left hand side. They're looking for a offside, and I think it has been given. It has been by the fourth official on Armstrong on that left hand side, but no real change comes from Rob Edwards. Only the two changes in Rodrigo Gomez and Angel Gomez. Maybe he's telling the board something for next season, that he's maybe got to have more depth on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think they do need that for sure. He's showing faith in players that aren't performing for him today. Some of the players that he's picked today, he's given Rokodare and Mosquera chances. They've not been starting for him regularly. They start today. They haven't performed. He's not taken them off. He's kept them on the pitch, and maybe he knows more than we do. Maybe they've been playing well in training, but they've been two of the worst performances today as well for Wolves.
Mane down the right hand side, easily by Sk. Well, two big goals at the bottom of the League 2 relegation zone. Then Newport 2, Barrow 1, and Barnet have got a second in their game against Harrogate, so Barnet 2, Harrogate 1, which means, of course, Harrogate are now into the relegation zone of League 2, and will be heading maybe down towards the National League if they can try and turn that game around and get the win. And of course, it will put Crawley in there, and if Crawley can try and win against Salford, then it's Tranmere that will go down, but we'll see a free kick here given for Sunderland then. Santiago Bueno just brings down Wilson Isidore, and the free kick has been given by Paul Tierney. It's taken onto this right hand side by Granit Xhaka, onto Mukiele, and Lefay is in there, onto Talby then. Talby whips a ball inside of the box. Isidore header. He's a little bit high for him. Will he get his second chance? He will do. Brings it down. Diarra tries the shot, but yet again it's a poor one from Diarra. He knows it by his facial expressions there. Miles wide of the post, and a goal kick for Wolves, but not dealt with those two headers. So easy for Isidore in the end.
Yeah, it was Mosquera's tame header away that went straight to Diarra. Again, you got to question what's he doing there. He's headed it straight to an opponent inside his own penalty area, and he's lucky not to be punished there by the volley that went well wide.
Long ball forward then. Rokodare has picked it up for Wolves, onto Mateus Mane then on this right hand side, back for Mosquera. Mosquera just plays it back towards Santiago Bueno, onto Totti Gomez on the left hand side, then back down towards Angel Gomez. Angel Gomez needs a little bit of support. He's in midfield, but nobody's there. They've all pushed quite high forward now. Now with Mateus Mane. Heavy touch from him, but he's lovely footwork to get away from a few players there. Can he play it forward? He can towards João Gomes, who gets his head up. It's a poor ball inside the box, though. He's cleared by Sunderland. It's bouncing around, though. Flicked back in. Rokodare is surely offside there as he touches that ball. He is. Well, no, actually, he isn't. And the ball is easily collected by Roofs then. And he will take his time with the ball now. I think they're wanting maybe to push on a little bit higher, though, but he's just waiting to play it high, and I won't be surprised if Sunderland try and push for the entirety of the 3 points, but at the moment Wolves are doing all right to defend themselves.
Yeah, I mean, just the game's just fizzling out, really, isn't it? Whether there's the desire from Wolves to push for the win now, I mean, I suppose there is. They're just not good enough. And whether Sunderland have got the legs, a lot of these players have been playing with a man down for 70 minutes or so now. There's a few subs that have come on and livened things up, but maybe both teams will just settle for a point now in what's been a kind of forgettable contest.
Ball onto the right hand side, then it goes for Talby. Switches it onto the left. Plenty of space for Diarra here then. Diarra drops it into the path back of Talby then. Onto Granit Xhaka, who switches onto the right hand side for Hume. He goes through the centre. Granit Xhaka, nice little 1-2 with Talby, but it's not really gone anywhere so far. Ball onto the left hand side for Sirkin. He'll have to give chase towards it, then just plays it back towards his goalkeeper. And he will try and drive it forward, looking for Isidore, headed away by Mosquera. Back in by Alderete. Lovely take down by Enzo Lefay, but just runs into a little bit of trouble. Santiago Bueno manages to clear his lines long downfield. Roofs tries to hoist it back up there. They're really trying to put the pressure on Wolves, keep them in their own half at the moment. Challenge comes in then from Siddiqui. It's a good one. Ball onto Xhaka, onto the right hand side it goes then for Hume. Hume races down the right hand side, tries to put a ball in. Does it take a deflection? It does, but it just rolls straight into the path of Bentley, who just rolls it straight out towards Mosquera then. Mosquera looking down the line for João Gomes. Now with Mane. Mane one-on-one with Sirkin. Looking for that option of Gomez. Use him as a bit of a decoy. Hoist it towards the far post. It's too over hit there. He was looking for a Rokodare, but straight over Rokodare's head. Yeah, disappointing quality again from Mane, but that's just been a running theme really for Wolves today. Just that one moment of quality really from the Bueno corner, which was headed in by Santi Bueno, and Sunderland, they just got that goal, didn't they, from the corner as well. Big turning point, if it was a turning point really, because Sunderland still dominated the rest of that first half. Was the red card for Dan Ballard, who
Can only have himself to blame, really, for getting that red card.
Long ball forward then for Sirkin. He cuts it back. Diarra and Isidore look towards the referee there. Was there a hand involved by Mosquera? The referee had a clear view of it. He says no. I think it was Marnie actually. Maybe the hand came off of both of them. We're charging down for the ball. The referee maybe has had a word in his ear. Now Rob Edwards will make his final change, it looks like. We've got 3 minutes of additional time. Ball over the top for Armstrong. Cuts it back towards Rokodare. Oh, he's over the crossbar from Rokodare. It'll be a goal kick for him. But what a chance to try and get the win for Wolves. But it's just over the crossbar.
Yeah, it's just sad to watch, isn't it? A striker who's in such dire form. He's kneed that one over the bar. He couldn't even get a foot to it. It's good play by Gomez, who's Angel Gomez, just to distinguish him from the other 4 Gomezes. Angel Gomez, who's put the ball in over the top, and then Armstrong with an instinctive back header, which has fallen to Rokodare. He's coming onto it, and he just knees it over the crossbar when any kind of foot finish would have probably done the job.
Would have indeed then. And so I think the change might be coming for Wolves. It will be then. The final change of the game then. Rob Edwards bringing off Rokodare, and in replace of him then Rokodare comes off of the field, maybe a little bit too late by Rob Edwards, but Idozi comes on to the field then for what will be about a minute of playing time. So Rokodare, plenty of chances to try and put them ahead. Robin Roofs has been given a yellow card for time wasting. And ball onto the right hand side for Talbot. And midfielder Adozi, only 19 years old. We'll get about a minute or so of football against Sunderland then. Long ball downfield, headed away by Sunderland. About for a throw in on that right hand side. Looking to go along with it. Big goal, just to tell you about in League One. Stevenage 1, Wigan 1. Maybe a last minute winner for Wigan. Sorry, a last minute winner for Stevenage to make sure that they get playoff places, to knock out Plymouth of them. Plymouth, of course, are winning to Northampton, but Stevenage will get into the playoffs by 2 points then, unless Wigan can try and score an equaliser late into that game. Ball's whipped inside the box. It's towards Mukalele. Gets a foot onto it, but just turns it into the path of Bentley, and the referee has blown his full-time whistle. It's a shake of hands between the two managers then. Plenty of chances for both teams to try and take away the full 3 points, but it's in this game, it is 2 headers that put the game at just a point for both teams then. It has finished in this game Wolves 1, Sunderland 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player